In our starting point photography segment tonight, I got an email from Richard Rumker. Richard, hopefully I'm saying your name right. Richard, he said, you may know this already, but on a trip to Costa Rica, shooting wildly from a riverboat with tons of tourists, I shot video, not stills, and captured many more jumping monkeys and swimming alligators than my friends taking single shots simply did not get. Shoot the video and then watch and select the best single frame. You can shoot continuously, zooming, and picking the best shot from the video. Also, at a butterfly exhibit, I did the same thing. Shooting video captured way better shots as those little critters move around a lot. What's the problem with Richard's solution?
Is this similar to those moving photographs that you can take on your iPhone now?
Yeah, called live photos.
The live, sorry.
So basically what he's saying, he just films it, whether it's on his iPhone or his camera, and then he brings the film into an editing software. It goes through it, goes, oh, that's a nice frame. And I'll grab that frame and use that one as an
What's
image.
wrong with it? I'm not sure.
The problem with it is, as Dave D and Mac Man are both saying, frame size, detail, and low res. If he's doing that only on his iPhone, it might work and it might be okay. But you take those images and send them to somebody, post them on Facebook, on Instagram, you want to print them, those images are going to go to shit on you because they don't have the detail that a picture has. As MacMan says, even 4K video is only 2160 by 3840. Most of the time, MacMan, what's the resolution on an iPhone photo? So yeah, MacMan says that's 7 megabytes. Whereas on the iPhone, you're getting double that, 16 megabytes on the iPhone. So there's less detail in the picture. That detail doesn't matter so much when the picture is only this big. It's when that picture starts to get bigger that you're almost zooming in, you're losing that detail. Megapixels, not megabytes, my apologies. So the other issue is if you're going to film something, you're generally going to film it either 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second. So a frame is a picture. So you're shooting 24 pictures a second or 30 pictures a second. Well, you're going to shoot that video for, let's say, 30 frames a second for at least, say, 10 seconds. That's 300 frames. That's 300 images I've got to go through to find that one shot that I think is a good shot. Multiply that over, if he went to Costa Rica, probably he's looking at least, even if he's a good shooter, 20, 30 minutes, an hour of video that you've got to go through every single frame, in theory, to find those good shots. That's a giant pain in the ass. Now, the reason why he got better, and this is a supposition, Richard, on my part, the reason why you got better shots than your friends isn't because your shots are better. As we've shown, they're going to be fairly low detail and low resolution. It's because your friends don't know how to shoot using a camera. They don't know the tips and tricks of shooting action. They don't know how to set their camera up to shoot action, whether it's an iPhone or whether it's a DSLR. iPhones are notoriously not great for shooting high-speed action. So if you've got monkeys that are running around the trees, it's going to be hard to get a picture of a monkey running around a tree on an iPhone because with the native camera app. Now, if you use a different app, if something's moving, what do I have to change in my camera in order to capture that movement? Melissa?
If something is moving,
which one of my camera controls do I change to capture the image?
won't you change your shutter speed?
Don't see. You always doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. You always change your shutter speed. If it's moving, it's shutter speed. And what do you do to your shutter speed to freeze
If
motion?
something's moving, to freeze motion.
You have a high shutter speed or a low shutter speed?
So if you want to freeze motion, I'd say a high shutter speed.
Exactly. So if you want to freeze motion, you want a shutter speed depending on the light, and we're assuming Costa Rica, bright sunny lights, unless you're in the canopy of the forest. He said he was in a boat, so I'm going to assume he's out in good light. What you need is a shutter speed of 1/1000th of a second.
Right.
At least 1/500th, probably 1/1000th of a second.
Right.
to get the you got a monkey jumping from one branch to the next, and you want to capture that monkey in mid jump, 1/1000th, as high as you can go.
And you got to
actually.
be ready.
That's the other thing. You've got to anticipate the shot. One of the things I teach in the class is anticipation is one of the keys to better photography. Knowing what's going to happen and having your camera ready for what's going to happen. So in this case, you know the kind of shots you want are things moving. The boat moving, water moving, crocodiles, piranha, whatever the hell's around, it's moving. So you want to, at the very least, go to shutter priority, increase your shutter speed to 1/1000th, 1/2000th if you can, and then anticipate where these creatures are going to go. If there's a butterfly sitting on a leaf, you can see its wings moving. So get ready to shoot when the wings are fully extended. When a monkey is sitting on a branch, watch the monkey, and when you see it start to crouch to jump, start shooting. The other aspect is burst mode. And burst mode is almost kind of like shooting video, but it's higher quality. Have your camera set to burst mode, which will shoot a bunch of shots all over in once, and hold that shutter button down and follow that monkey as it shoots. Now you'll get 30 or 40 shots depending on your camera, but in those 30 or 40 shots, hopefully you've got one that's in focus, that is at the right shutter speed that you can get. And then the third thing you got to think about is focus. If you just use what's called single focus and you click and hold on the monkey, when the monkey moves, your focus point is there, but the monkey's now over there. If you move, you may have to refocus. So read your camera manual and see if your camera can do what's called continuous autofocus. And that's on newer cameras. The beginner cameras still have it, but it's on fairly new cameras. And continuous autofocus, your camera's smart enough to know, okay, you focus on that thing is now moving. I'm going to move my focus point along with it. Now, you obviously have to move your body as well, too. But those three things are why Richard was getting better shots out of his video than his friends were getting off an iPhone or a DSLR they didn't know how to use. If you know how to use your equipment, if you know what you're going to shoot, if you think about your photography, I guarantee you'll get better pictures than Richard did shooting video. Dave D says, I don't think video settings on any camera allow you to set shutter speed. I think it's fixed. I think that would make low light video tough. Are my assumptions right? Your assumptions are incorrect, Dave. You on the iPhone, you can't set aperture. Your aperture is set at f2.2 for the one times, I think it's one time, and then 2.8 for the other one. You cannot change your aperture on your iPhone. You can change shutter speed, you can change ISO, you can change exposure. There's a bunch of things you can change. You just can't change the aperture on an iPhone. And obviously on a DSLR, you can change aperture, you can change shutter speed, you can change ISO, you can change all of those things. I meant for video, not for stills. Video cameras dedicated video cameras do have a shutter speed, ability to change shutter speed on them. I know on my DJI drone, the Hasselblad drone, Mavic Pro 2, I can change my shutter speed on the Mavic Pro for shooting video as well. I don't know, because I don't shoot this kind of video on the iPhone, whether I can change the shutter speed on the apps, dedicated apps, not the native app. Like Moments is a great app for this kind of manual control over your iPhone. I don't know if you can do that with video on the iPhone. I'm pretty sure you can do the video. Like I said, I know you can change the shutter speed on video on cameras because my Mavic Pro 2 does exactly that.